Okay, next video. We're drawing the pedestal table. So open up Onshape, open up your pedestal table file that you've opened before. This time, I'm going to have a look. We're going to draw these cross pieces. We call these the support piece, and they're 300 long, 65 wide. They will be, this says 19, but I think we'll make it 18 thick in the drawing. They've got, as we can see here, it's got a cross halving joint with a hole through it. And obviously that hole is at 25mm diameter so that our stem can fit into there. So let's get drawing. 300 by 65. Alright, we'll remember those sizes. So I'm going to create a new tab down here, a new part studio. So click the plus and do create part studio. I'm going to rename that to support. I'm going to call it support 1 because we're going to make a second one which will be support 2. We're going to draw our sketch on the top view here. So click once on the sketch. Which sketch plane? We're going to use the top plane. We'll keep the origin on for this one. We'll turn off the top, front and right planes. That origin will be pretty handy for drawing this one. And I'm going to click N on the keyboard so I can view this front on. Okay, we're going to look for the center point rectangle tool this time. In the past we've often used the corner rectangle. This time we want the center point rectangle. And we're going to start our rectangle on the origin point. If you don't have the origin point, you've probably turned it off. Turn it back on over here. There, cool. Click once in the origin, move the cursor out and it'll start to draw the rectangle. This time I'm going to use the dimension tool to set the sizes. So long edge was 300. Well, why isn't my keyboard? There it goes. 300. Short edge was 65. So click once on the short edge, click to place and change that to 65. And that sketch is done, so we can tick it. Go back to my 3D view. And we're going to extrude. We're going to extrude to a thickness of our stem was 19, so we'll have to make its thickness 19 as well, or else it won't fit properly. So we're going to extrude to a thickness of 19. So we'll change the depth to 19 and make sure we click on our sketch. There we go. And tick. We need to do our cross halving joint now. So we're going to create a new sketch and we're going to click on the top surface there. Again, I'm going to hit N on the keyboard so I can view it front on. We're going to choose the center point rectangle again. So we're going to click once in the origin and go up and touch one of the long edges of the rectangle. Click. And now we're going to set our dimension. So we're going to find the dimension tool and we need to dimension the size of this cutout. The width of our pieces is 65, therefore our cutout from this edge to this edge also must be 65. And it will adjust. And because we use the center point rectangle from the origin, it'll put it right in the middle for us. We don't have to do any other calculations. In the classroom we did when we were making this out of timber, but in here we don't. We'll go back to our 3D view and we're going to extrude. We're going to extrude to remove half the thickness of this material. So let's click the extrude button We'll click on our shape, which is that new rectangle. We need to set this to remove, and the depth must be half the thickness of this. So again, we could use Onshape to do our maths for us. So it's 19 divided by 2. That looks right, so we can tick. We need a hole in the center of this, so we're going to create a sketch. This time we're going to click on this surface here. So click once there, and again I'm going to view this front on by hitting N on the keyboard. Look for the center point circle, and of course it starts in the origin as well. So click once in the origin, move the circle out. Now we're going to go and get our dimension tool, click once on the edge, click once to place. If you remember its size, it was 25. Now why is my keyboard not working? Maybe its batteries are going flat. 25. That sketch is done. Any guesses what we do next? Yeah, if you said extrude, you are correct. So we're going to extrude that circle. So some kids in the classroom made the mistake of clicking out here, which will cut away the wrong shape. If that happens, if you select the wrong place, deselect here in this box in the extrude dialog and try again. But we want to hit the circle. I've set that to remove. It's good practice, rather than just to leave it blind, is to go down to through all. There's most of our support piece done. It has got a chamfer on it, but we're going to do one more thing before we get to that chamfer. So we need 2 of these. So instead of drawing a second one, what we're going to do is we're going to, down here on the tab where we've got support with 1, we're going to right click and choose duplicate. And it will create a new tab, and if you open that tab, it's exactly the same. But let's rename it to support 2. Support 2, there we go. Now the only difference between these two, I don't know whether you can pick it in the drawing, is the side that we put that 45-degree chamfer on. So we're going to look for the chamfer tool. Don't get confused with the fillet tool. Make sure you choose the chamfer tool. I'll start with support 1. Chamfer tool, and we're going to chamfer the edges. So make sure you only select the edges, don't select faces. So I'm going to select 2 edges, the top edges, and it's going to be a distance of 10 millimeters. And it gives you a preview, so that should be what it looks like. So these chamfers are on the same side as the joint, the cross halving. And tick, and that object is done. Let's jump over to support 2. These chamfers go on the bottom edges, the ones that are opposite the cross halving. So look for the chamfer tool. This time select the bottom edge. You will have to rotate your view so you can see the other edge over here. Mine has remembered my last size of 10, and if you're happy, tick. So our 2 supports are identical, except they're chamfered on opposite sides. That's it for this video.